did get our new tires today, looking quite lovely. We got the TOYOs R888s. So we're gonna go ahead and install these bad boys on the SIs, and then I'm gonna just go over why I chose this particular tire in comparison to some of the other tires I have used in the past, and I'll show you some of the tires that I've used in comparison to these, and these are just my favorite tires. So let's get these guys installed. All right guys, so we are in the daily in the AC for right now because the tires are being mounted. So once the guy finishing up mounting the tires, we'll head back to the garage and get these bad boys on the car to see what we're looking like with the 15-inch wheels, and see if we're gonna have to do any type of suspension adjustment. Might wait till later. It is kind of warm out here. It was like 102 the other day. Kind of cloudy. That's why it's not so hot. So we're gonna get back to the garage and mount these bad boys on there. All right guys, so we are back at the garage with the rims and tires. Got these bad boys installed, and that's what they look like. So I was thinking about going with a 225 50-15 instead of going with the 205 50-15 like I went. The 225 does sit a little bit wider. I actually felt like the 225 was a little bit too much tire, at least for the street, and the aggressive look. So I still want to keep somewhat factory OEM look and not have it looking like I have a big tire up front, because eventually we are going to get slicks for the car anyway. So I didn't want to go too big up front. So I just went with the 205s just to kind of keep it simple, but still keep a good tire. So I have tried the Nittos, I've tried the Federals, I've tried the TOYO Proxies. What are they? Double R's, I believe. And I've also tried some Dunlops. I've tried a few different tires. I've tried Mickey Thompson's. Slicks, and after doing my little personal review and launches and for the K series front wheel drive, all that stuff, this is definitely absolutely the best tire I've tried on the street. And before these, my first time trying them was on my 14s that I had on here before. And on the 14s, obviously it's a heavier rim, so it's like a little bit of a difference as far as the performance. And it wasn't even the Gen 2. The Gen 2 has a little bit of a different design on the pattern, and I believe the actual wheel thread is a little bit different also. So I do believe these are going to be even better than the ones that I had on the Blackies before we got this set up. So I'm gonna put these things on, wipe everything down, shine up the tires, and then we'll roll her out the garage to see what she looks like. All right, so there we go, boys. That's what it's gonna be looking like so far. So one thing I noticed now that I got all 4 15-inch wheels on there is that we have a little bit more of a gap than we did before. And I think it has to do with having a smaller rim and more tire. So before it gave us the illusion as if we didn't have any gap. So now because we have more rim and less tire as far as how tall it sits, you can see our gaps a lot more. Like back here I might drop it about 1/2 inch, and then here we're definitely going about 1 inch, maybe about 3/4 inch, just to get it to look clean. The front end is definitely sitting up a little higher than before. Got some good clearance on the oil pan. Before on the 14s it was just a little bit too low, so I did raise it up for that reason. So I'm gonna do some adjustments to the suspension. I'm gonna roll it out first so it can sit in the heat and kind of settle where it's gonna sit. Get some more measurements and then try to get it spot on all four so we could have her sitting nice and clean. So I'm gonna do that and then I'll show you what it looks like. All right guys, so real quick tip while I'm at it. By the way, I am no professional at doing suspension or calculating the weight to height to ratio and all that stuff. I'm not a professional at that, but what I do know is how to semi-set your suspension to get it to perform as good as possible as far as you doing it yourself in your garage. So when the car was down, I measured the height from each side, because if you measure your height from your strut when the suspension's up, you're gonna have a false measurement because of the weight of the engine being on the passenger side and then the weight of you being on the driver's side. So you aren't really gonna affect the height of the suspension due to the spring rate. It's gonna be very little if the driver weight does affect the height. What will affect the height is the weight of the engine. So what I did was I took my measurement from the fender down to the tire before I raised the car, and then all I'm gonna do is subtract that onto the strut, because I did this side, and I'm gonna show you guys. For example, right here we have a 4-finger gap, but when the weight of the car comes down on this weight, it's gonna make it a 3-finger gap, maybe even a 2-finger gap. On this side of the car, it's gonna drop the car even lower because of the weight of the engine being on the driver's side. So what I did was, this was a measurement that I had to take off on the passenger side. So once I put this tire back on, this tire is gonna hang lower about 1 inch, no, about 1/2 inch than the passenger side, because of the weight that the engine is gonna cause is gonna drop it to settle same as passenger. Hope I was able to explain it. Like I said, I am no professional at this. I'm just showing what I know about this suspension work. Guys, so I just wanted to show you guys what I was talking about. So on this side, we got easily a 4 to 4.5 inch gap. And then over here, we have about a 3 to 3 inch gap. Once I put the car down, it should sit nice and flat due to the weight that the engine puts on the strut and spring. Looks like about a 2-finger gap. And then driver's side, same thing. So just real quick guys, this is just a little bit of what I know that can help the suspension on the actual car. Same thing for the rear. So I'm gonna roll her out, see what she looks like. All right, so here's what it looks like now after adjusting the suspension. You can definitely see the difference here. We cleared the gap on the front, and then we just about a 1/4 inch in the back, because I want the car to kind of sit up from the back, so when the suspension does take off, it doesn't squat too much. Here's the passenger side, same thing, sitting a little bit lower from the front, and then have it sitting up just nice from the back. and it kind of gives the tires a nice even look. Since the front tire is a little bigger than the rear tire, it doesn't make the front tire so obvious. So that's pretty much it, guys. Comment, subscribe, let me know what you guys think. We do have our tune coming up and a few extra little things we're doing to the car. I do appreciate all support, and I will keep you guys updated.